Dr. Mundo. Dr. Mundo is known as a madman from Zon who just runs around lane throwing infinite cleavers at your face. Like, sir, I'm here to play League, not a dodgeball simulator. And what makes it worse is that he doesn't use no mana, so he can throw infinite cleavers and he has like 10,000 HP. The reason why he's so annoying is because he's basically unkillable. His ult, Maximum Dosage, gives him a massive amount of health regen. We're talking like it's Garen's passive, but on crack. And it doesn't matter if he's getting hit or not. He's still going to heal like a crazy lunatic. You get into lane and you're poking him down for like 3 minutes. But when you realize that you're only one all-in away from killing him, he of course just presses R to fully heal his HP again, ignoring whatever you did to him 3 minutes ago. It basically feels like you're building Lego, and then in the next second, right before you put the last piece in, he smashes it in front of you with a grin on his face. When you have to play against Dr. Mundo, oh buddy, just be prepared because you're not going to enjoy this. What usually happens is that you're most likely trying to poke him down and he's just going to heal everything off. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, his passive blocks the first CC thing that you hit him, dropping a canister close by, and if he picks it up, he'll regen health and reduce his abilities cooldowns, so he can just hit you with more Qs. Okay, honestly, there are ways to counter him, but it feels really unfair because you're doing as much damage as you can, but it feels meaningless because he can just heal off whatever small damage you do to him, and it's just like, wow, like what's the point in even trying to win a battle that's just not possible? He could literally face tank any bush in this game and not have a single bit of worry to it because he just has a million HP, so of course he's not scared. Okay, at the end of the day, is Mundo actually broken? Honestly, I would say yes. Mundo is broken because he's just one of those champions that hard counters certain teams and is really annoying to play against, especially in the top lane when all he does is build his tank items so he never dies. But if your team is heavy on items like grievous wounds or any anti-healing and a lot of poke, then I would say he will struggle more. But most of the time, he's unkillable because of how much HP and regen he has. Fizz. He's an assassin type of character who is from Bilgewater. He's basically a Yordle version of Poseidon. Fun fact, his passive actually allows him to walk through minions, so he can never be minion blocked. Fizz has a lot of damage early game with a W that allows him to last hit minions easily. And if you get hit by it, it gives you a lot of damage with the burn at the end. What people hate about Fizz the most is his E, Playful Trickster. Okay, let's hop into this, no pun intended. His ability, Playful Trickster, basically makes him untargetable for like a second, and he's allowed to basically dodge anything and hop whatever direction he chooses for that second. And if he lands on you, it does a lot of damage with a slow. E also blocks any CC and cancels any ultimate you use, like Z ult, Karthus ult, I don't even know, literally anything, you name it. Playing against Fizz is one of the most annoying things. He'll hit Q on you and do a bunch of damage, and then hit you with his auto attack and then W because his W is an auto attack reset. And if you tried to trade with him, he would just press E and then you're just half HP while he's full HP. Like great, thanks. And now once you're low enough, he's just going to press R on you and jump on you, and yeah, you're basically done at this point. The only thing I think is kind of unfair with this kit is that his E can basically dodge any ability in this game. But if you know how to trade well with him, like predicting his engage or knowing his champion cooldowns properly, oh boy, you're going to be hard to deal with. But just like any other champion, there's a counter. To counter him, you have to bully him early at level 1 to 5, try freezing the wave near your tower so it makes it hard for him to farm, and honestly just remember what his cooldowns are for his E so you can trade with him without losing the trade. He has been one of the most complained about champions in League, but honestly his win rate has actually been relatively low or average in the recent seasons. If you know how to play Fizz properly, I would say he is pretty broken because his early game is pretty strong and he does a lot of damage. That's only if you know how to trade properly. But I would say most of the time, if a Fizz falls behind early, it's kind of hard for him to come back. So no, I don't think he's actually really broken if you know how to trade and keep a distance. Morgana. Morgana is a support mage who has been everyone's nightmare since season 1. She was one of the original champions that was launched since the game came out, and till this day, she remains one of the most annoying champions to go against in lane. She has an ability that roots you in place for like 10 seconds, a shield that completely blocks all CC, and an ultimate that can stun your whole team, dealing massive damage. Okay. So one of the most annoying things about Morgana is her Q. Her Q, Dark Binding, can root you up to 3 seconds when it hits the max rank. In League, 3 seconds is a long time. For context, someone's all in usually takes around 2 seconds, so good luck surviving when her whole team decides to all in you when you're binded. Morgana also has really good sustain from her W. If she hits any big minions like cannon minion or a big jungle camp monster, her W's cooldown gets reduced and she just heals for a little bit. Morgana has been seeing a lot of shine in the mid lane recently. When you're laning against her, most of the time she's trying to poke you down using her pool, and if you get hit by her Q, then probably half of your HP is probably gone because you're about to go swimming in her pool. But if you can kill her early game, that would be the best case scenario because she doesn't do the most damage early, has long cooldowns, and her mana sustain is not the best if she has to spam her ability to poke you down. I feel like Morgana's Q stun is just way too long. Most of the champions' stun lasts only for like 1 to 2 seconds, but Morgana's is 3. Not just that, but she has an ability that gives her a shield that blocks CC and magic damage, and an ultimate that can stun your whole team, dealing crazy damage depending on how much ability power she has. Overall, she has too many damn abilities to stop you from killing her or running away. As a Morgana player, I think she is really broken, honestly. I play Morgana mid most of the time, and my W heals me a lot over time. If you keep poking them with it, it'll force the enemy to back, and it's just really hard for the jungler to gank you if you have wards around the map. Even if you didn't, your shield would block any CC, and you have a Q that traps them so you can escape easily. Heimerdinger. Heimerdinger is basically Albert Einstein of League of Legends. Just look at him. Look how big his brain is. If he doesn't have 200 IQ, I don't know what to say. People usually play Heimerdinger top or support sometimes, but most of the time, I would say top lane. He's a champion that controls the zone with his turrets, so it makes it super hard for anyone to engage on them, or they just get destroyed by his turrets. One of the most annoying things about Heimerdinger is his Q, H28G Evolution Turret. Wow, just hearing that ability name already gets me so super freaking annoyed. Heimer can place up to 3 turns at a time, and it will clear the minion wave in like 3 seconds. He doesn't even have to play the game aggressively, and he can still win. All it takes is just one mistake from you because you are greedy, thinking you can kill him with all his turns up when he's low, but you don't realize that his turns does a million damage with a laser at the end. Then he snowballs after that. The game literally comes to him and his turns do all the work for him. They also just regenerate slowly, if I forgot to mention. When you're facing Heimerdinger, just know it's about to be one of those games that you just sit back and try to dodge whatever he throws at you while you try to farm until you have a perfect opportunity or a gank from your jungler. If you try to do anything stupid like engage on him, he is most likely going to throw his storm grenade at your face and stun you, then just hit you with 10,000 rockets. I wouldn't say Heimerdinger's champion is unfair, but it's just super annoying to go against because you know that you're most likely going to be farming under your tower for most of the game because he's always going to push you in. And I'm just like everyone else. I love action and I love fighting in League. So if there's one champion that stops me from doing that, that just annoys me. It makes me hate the game just a bit more. Oh yeah, also, good luck trying to gank him. This guy has a whole army of towers shooting at you when you try to engage on him. He is also one of those champions that are really good in teamfights and does a lot of impact zoning people from objectives. I would say Heimer is strong in taking objectives because he has so much zoning power that causes you to not engage on him, and his little towers help him tank while doing damage. One of the worst parts is when they taunt you after killing you. Like, brother, it took you no skill. In pro play and high elo, Heimerdinger has been considered strong enough to be banned regularly in specific patches. He's also one of those champions where his strength is highly team dependent. In a coordinated team with dive, he crumbles. However, in solo queue, where no one wants to work together to burst his turrets, he thrives. His design creates frustration that scales inversely with coordination, meaning he's most unbearable at the ranks where most players actually live. Overall, I would say Heimerdinger is not broken. If you have the patience and play for the perfect opportunity to engage on him, he should be an easy kill. But for sure, he is up there for the most annoying champions in League of Legends. At the end of the day, Heimerdinger cannot 1v9. If your team is not scaling and your team comp is horrible, then Heimerdinger will not be much of a problem. Yasuo. Yasuo is a wind-walking samurai that Riot created in 2013 and has been apologizing ever since. He's statistically one of the most played champions in this game and one of the most hated. He has a Q that does basically damage instantly, a wind wall that stops any projectile, and a passive that gives him a shield that constantly regenerates as he's walking. Yasuo also gets double the crit from items, so you're basically at 100% crit at 20 minutes. And yes, he's famous for either going 0 and 10 or for being everyone's worst nightmare. So why is Yasuo one of the most played and one of the most hated champions? It's because he's one of the most annoying, if you didn't get it. There's multiple layers to this. First, it's his W, his wind wall. It blocks all projectile types of abilities. Yes, you heard me. All projectiles from any champion. Okay, but not Lux's R though. If there's any more abilities I'm missing out, do let me know in the comments below. But I think that's the only one that I can think of on top of my head. The other layer I'm talking about is Yasuo's E, Sweeping Blade. This ability basically lets him dash through minions like he's dancing on us like Michael Jackson, and it makes him really hard to hit during those times. The more he dashes, the more damage he will do on his next dash, which can stack up to 3 times. He would basically dash up to you, hit you with his Q, then auto you for a bunch of damage, and then just dash back out like nothing happened. And yes, it would be like this for the whole game, but worse because he just does so much damage later on, it's actually insane. You can be 0 and 10 and then randomly get a pentakill the next team fight. When you're laning against Yasuo, you better bring out your dancing shoes or it's going to be hard to keep up with him. What it typically looks like when you go against him is that he's just going to dash through every minion stacking his E, then dash to you, hitting you with his Q till he gets his tornado. But don't worry, most Yasuo players miss their tornado anyways. Then, when he hits level 6, some guy on his team with a knockup will probably somehow knock you up, and he just presses R to get a free kill. The only ability that I think is super unfair in Yasuo's kit is his W. If he has a fast enough reaction and proper game sense, he can block the most important game-changing abilities to win a team fight. Is Yasuo actually that broken though? His win rate is usually hovering below 50%, but win rate is not the whole point if a player who's in Diamond and above gets their hand on him. He is just genuinely terrifying. Players can go 0 and 10 on Yasuo early game and still dominate late game. So I would say yes. As a champion that feeds like crazy in the early game, should not be able to come back. Teemo. Teemo is a tiny Yordle scout who skips around the map placing invisible mushroom booby traps everywhere, and yes, they are invisible. So you cannot destroy them unless you have a sweeper or some type of vision on them. On paper, he sounds super cute, but in reality, he's a devil wearing a cute Yordle costume. Fun fact, he's also the most reported champion in the game's history. Everything about Teemo is designed to be annoying. His Q will attack for up to 3 seconds, which means any bruisers who rely on auto-attacking like Tryndamere and Master Yi simply cannot fight him. So he would basically auto-attack you a bunch of times and then blind you so you won't be able to hit him back. His E is a constant poison whenever you get hit by an auto-attack, and yes, it doesn't do crazy damage, but over time it adds up. And his R, Noxious Trap, lets him place invisible poisonous mushrooms everywhere on the map like river entrances, jungle buffs, dragon, baron, you name it. Most of the time you step onto 1, you'll probably step onto 5 more later. Playing against Teemo in lane is just a nightmare, especially if you're playing a melee champ. He's a ranged champion, so all he does is just hit you with his auto attacks until you're low enough so that you'll either have to recall or he'll punish you by staying. When you try to engage for a trade, he would automatically blind you, and honestly, after being blinded, I don't even want to try killing him anymore. It just messes up with my whole plan. Whenever he has the edge over you in lane, you better hope he doesn't know how to freeze the wave. If he does, then have fun hanging beside your tower until your jungler comes. Teemo feels unfair because he counters on fundamentals. Melee champions are supposed to have the threat of all-in engagements as compensation for their shorter range. Teemo's blind removes that threat entirely. He is also able to place mushrooms across the map, causing players to be scared of walking into the river and around the jungle. He puts attacks on every transition in the game without having to be there. Teemo sits at a solid average win rate in most patches, but win rate misses the point with Teemo. His frustration that he gives to players and the sheer emotional damage he deals is off the charts. On paper, he's not statistically a headache, but playing against him is just something else. There's a reason why veteran players say playing against Teemo teaches you patience, 'cause it does. It teaches you the kind of patience that comes from having every other option taken away from you. So there you have it, 6 champions in League of Legends that makes your head want to explode. If you want to see a part 2 on this video, please comment down what champions you hate to play against or just hate in general. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye bye.